Hi, this is Real World Audio, and I'm continuing today with single-handed triodes and introducing you to the Goldilocks concept of amplification. So it's just a Google search. First thing that comes up: what is the Goldilocks concept? The principle states that something must fall within certain margins as opposed to reaching extremes. So, blah blah blah, that when you test these items, then something those things need not to be in the extremes. It has to be in the middle. It has to be just right. And low power, free power triode amplifiers can do this just right thing, because when you look for how much power do I need from my amplifier, and if you are thinking that there are 1000 watt amplifiers or 5000 watt, is that better than 1 watt? Not necessarily. And it's not just is 1000 better. That's not the question. The question is that where is the Goldilocks zone of that amplifier? So I'm going to look at another post on the Audiogon forum. In fact, I'm not beating around the bush. I'm beating the same bush, because we are going to look at the same Audiogon thread that I have quoted for the last two videos. And now we are going to scroll down on that thread and look at Atmosphere's post. And Atmosphere, they make vacuum tube amplifiers, single-handed triodes, and when you look at Atmosphere's posts on Audiogon, just look for it, and because he has really good posts, and you can learn a lot if you look if you decide to do so. And here we go. The loudness cues to which I was referring are the higher ordered harmonics, fifth and above. Human ear uses these harmonics to sense sound pressure. Okay, now I just have to stop it a little bit here. You would be saying, "What? How come the human ear it senses sound pressure? If it's loud, then it's loud. If it's whisper soft, you cannot hear it, right?" That's not entirely true. The human hearing biology is adaptive, just like our vision is adaptive. Of course, you are getting a rough estimate by the sheer SPL of what you are hearing, but to gauge accurately the loudness, the brain uses several processes. One of them is the presence of high ordered harmonics. And this is actually our main loudness cue when we are listening to stereo systems, because our stereo systems provide a lot of high order harmonics when they are stressed, when they are ready to poop out, and this is especially true for solid state amplification. They are the champions of high ordered harmonics. They just suddenly start to generate a lot of these. And even if they stay in the 1% region, they are still enough to make our brains think that it's bloody loud and it's hurting my ears. So when you read like distortion figures, oh, I'm just getting like a 1% or 0.1% distortion, blah blah blah, yeah, of this higher order was, but that's still enough. Like at the 17th order distortion, that's enough to make you think that it's too loud and you want to turn the volume down. So our brain uses this cue, the harmonic cue, to tell us how loud our stereo system is. I will talk more about cues and how can we tell natural sounds, the volume of natural sound, because natural sounds we do not have high order harmonic distortion, except in the case of when metals or glass are making sound, then we have those high order harmonics. But if there are people talking, then we do not hear that anyway. That's just a segue. So anyway, these high order cues are used to gauge the sound pressure over an extremely wide range. So our human hearing basically works in 130 dB range, like from 0 dB to 130 dB. So let's see. If you know these facts, then that gives you a good idea on how to approach amplifier design. So now this is where we are going to get into the Goldilocks zone. Since the ear is arguably more sensitive to high order harmonics than anything else, under that he means low order harmonics like second or third harmonics, it follows that for electronics to sound natural, the high order harmonics distortion is the one that should be minimized. He also states here, by the way, that type of distortion is that characterizes most solid state designs. So when that is done, that is, you do not have high order distortion creeping up, you can run much higher power levels, yet the system will not sound as loud because all the loudness cues are not generated by the stereo. So this is really, really critical, that when we are listening to a stereo system, there is a very big difference that whether the music is truly loud, that when you break out an SPL meter, are you measuring very high SPL levels, or the SPL levels are relatively low, but it is fatiguing your ears and your brains are telling you that this is way too loud, knock it down. And your ear and your brain is telling you to turn the volume down because it's hurting me, not because the SPL levels are so high, but because there's so much distortion component to it that the brain is not able to process it. So when you have listening fatigue, it is not because of the high SPL, it is because you are overloading your brain's processing capacity. And those high order harmonic cues are naturally used for 3D localization, and they are really fine cues, and they occur at the very high frequency range, and the brain has to calculate the frequencies, the differences in frequencies. It has to calculate the subharmonics and the other harmonic components of those harmonics that you are hearing to decode it. That's how our brain processes a 3D map of the visual of the auditory information you are hearing, because it's the brain that creates the 3D virtual map of what you are hearing. And if you are using too many of these high order cues, then it will overload your brain. And that's why, one reason why the solid state amps sound etched and edgy and too precise and super high resolving, because their high order harmonic distortion creates fake three-dimensional signals. So that's why your singer Diana Krall can pop out as the porcelain doll singing in the middle of your room, because your amplifier is generating additional cues that create fake 3D perceptory information for your brain. But even when the system does that, it will fatigue your brain because it will give you the clues that you are listening to it too loud. And that's why a single-ended triode amplifier, which does not generate these cues if it's built properly, you can listen to it without listening fatigue, even at higher volumes, because the brain is not receiving these signals. And also, it's not receiving these fake 3D information, and that's why it doesn't sound edged. So when you are coming from a ultra expensive solid state amplifier camp, you will find a single-ended triode initially maybe a bit too bland for your taste, because you are not getting these overly edged, over processed information. But if you take time to listen more to a single-ended triode, you will notice that you are getting the true 3D information, the true low level information that you are getting with single-ended triodes that you are not getting with solid state systems. And then your brain processes a very different 3D perception of the acoustic world that you are hearing. So let's get on with what Atmosphere shared with us. What is the Goldilocks stuff that I'm talking about? The result is to naturally turn the volume up to get a realistic sound pressure. In my opinion, this is at the heart of the shortcoming of the single-ended triodes, since they don't make much power, and these harmonics are audible at any power level over 20% of full output power. So I think I skipped something there, but what I skipped is the phenomenon that when you are cranking up the volume and you are asking your amplifier to put out more power than for solid state amps, you are getting more of these high order harmonics that will tire your ear and give you fake 3D signals. And when you turn up the volume on single-ended triodes, you are getting more of second and third order lower harmonics. And second order harmonics will make your brain think that the sound is fuller, and the third order harmonics will make your brain think that the sound is more dynamic than what it actually is. And why is that? Because every sound that happens in real life has second and third order harmonics at significant levels, and that's how you can hear whether a person, when a person is talking loud, is that loud for the person a natural loud, or is he straining already, or how loud is it? Because they have different second and third harmonics in their voices, but it's still natural, it's still there. And when we are pushing a single-ended triode amp, then these harmonics go up, and actually the sets will sound as if they were more powerful. So when you push a single-ended triode amp, it will start to sound more powerful than what it actually is. And if you push a solid state amp, it will start to hurt your ears and sound as if it's running out of power at a more alarming rate. So it's as if it had less power than it actually has. So he's saying this is why so many sets are described as far more dynamic than their low power would suggest. But it's simply the distortion that the ear interprets as loudness showing up on transients that have the most power. So basically, when you have the transient, instead of the set being able to generate that 10 watt output, maybe it will just go to 2 watt, but it will create that second and third order harmonic distortion, and that will make your ear believe that the amp has truly the 10 watts to deliver what was asked for it. But when you get used to it, used to how it sounds, you will be able to tell that, okay, now I'm pushing the amplifier, but it's something of a graceful push, and it will not sound that it's really intruding on your ears, and it will never be painful and fatiguing to you. And the end result that even at relatively low sound pressure level, they sound loud. And I would say that for most of us, this is something truly, truly beneficial. Why? Because nowadays everyone is cranking their stereos up the wazoo. If you look at reviews, then everyone is like, oh, you have to listen to at 100 dB plus level or whatnot, and if your loudspeakers can do 110 dB, then you need to upgrade. I call BS on that. Look at us, look at yourself. Most of us, we live in real world apartments, right? Most of us are renting, at least here in the US. And you have neighbors left and right, above you, below you, next to you, over the corridor, everywhere. And we just can't listen to too loud music, and it's a tremendous bonus if you can listen to music without pushing your stereo system. And so one bonus is that is your neighbors, and especially your family member. Even if you don't give an F-bomb about your neighbor, I have noticed that for most of my audio friends, the true limit whether they can listen loud or not is family. The kids need to sleep, grandpa is tired, grandma is cranky, whatnot. Your wife needs to work from home, whatever. You are not able to play at painfully loud SPLs at all time, and it's a tremendous bonus that you can enjoy the sound without blowing up your family or your neighbors. So that's a tremendous advantage of single-handed triodes, and this is one component to it, why they can do that, because they sound at lower SPLs as if the SPL was higher. So let's continue. In my opinion, it's the mark of a good system that it always sounds relaxed and never sounds loud until it is truly loud. So which is, he's saying 95 dB plus. Now that's pretty loud. The only way to get around this limitation with single-handed triodes is with really high efficiency loudspeakers, which from what I have seen over the years doesn't happen that often. So this is why so many people are not experiencing the best single-handed triodes that the sets have to offer. So that's what it is. And guys, this is the reason why you need efficient speakers with single-handed triodes, because if you want to have like a loud experience, or like you want to listen not just to like a single guitar or a quiet quartet or a quiet vocal at night, but you want to maybe listen louder during daytime, then you need an efficient loudspeaker for that. And because you need a range of 95 dB to enjoy loud music without compression. So this is what Atmosphere gives us. He gave us the Goldilocks zone for sound reproduction. So if you want to enjoy even loud sounds without compression creeping up into the music, then you need enough power with a combination of loudspeaker so that it will give you 95 dB at 20% of full power output. So now at my next video, which will be truly just a 2-minute video, I will show you how this Goldilocks zone translates to the Darling amplifier that I am suggesting for you guys to build, and several of you are building. And if you are building it, and just please write in the comments where you are in the process and where you want help, and I'm going to help with that, and post more to help you guys on that journey. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and have a wonderful day.